Hours before the deadline for the closing of the filing of nomination papers for the Congress president polls, there's finally some clarity. It has been a couple of weeks of high drama. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story, and our big focus today, we can finally tell you who is running for Congress president, and it's not this man. Ashok Gehlot, the Rajasthan chief minister, has dropped out. After meeting with Sonia Gandhi, it became increasingly clear that after his rebellion, the Gandhi family would not have trusted him with the top job in any case. It's less clear what will happen in Rajasthan, but for now, we do have two contenders. And you heard it here first on the Mojo Story. As Ashok Gehlot steps back, it is the former Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, Congress veteran Digvijaya Singh, who said with twinkling eyes on this program that he would be open to contesting if Sonia Gandhi asked him to do so. In the meantime, of course, what will happen to Sachin Pilot? That remains a question mark. We don't yet know how Rajasthan is going to resolve itself. But this photograph of Shashi Tharoor and Digvijay Singh both tweeting saying they'll be contesting not as rivals but as friendly colleagues, this is at the heart of the conversation. One of these men is going to be the next Congress president. Can we go back to that picture and just hold it there? One of these men is going to be the next Congress president. But of course, the power will continue to be wielded by the Gandhi family. So how much is really going to change? Have these last few days undercut the authority of the Gandhi family? Or is the Congress able to say, look, we kept our word. No member of the family is going to be the president. In fact, one thing is clear. This is going to be the first non-Gandhi to lead the Congress since 1997 and Sitaram Kesri. So a lot to unpack here, a lot of questions still unclear. And let's introduce our guests on the program today. We are joined by senior journalist Varun Singh. Varun Singh, of course, had first prophesied that Ashok Gehlot did not ever want to be the Congress president. Why would he want that crown of thorns? What we don't know yet, Varun, is whether Mr. Gehlot will get to keep the chief ministership at all. Sandip Ghose, a commentator, columnist, is with us, always an agent provocateur, and we hope he'll be his provocative best himself. Dr. Shruti Kapila, who's of course one of our best-known historians, teaching at the University of Cambridge, author and columnist, is with us. Great to see you after a while, Shruti. And also joining us, somebody who knows Rajasthan, very important for us who are based out of Delhi, to get a voice from the ground. Avinash Kala. Avinash Kala lives in and reports on Rajasthan, and he'll give us a sense of what's actually happening there. We're hoping Sanjay, Congress supporter, lapsed spokesperson, will be with us in a couple of minutes as well. Before we get the ball rolling, Ashok Gehlot, after his meeting with Sonia Gandhi, had this to say.
उसके बावजूद भी जो घटना हुई परसों के दो दिन पहले, वो घटना इतना हिला के रख दिया। मुझे जो दुख है वो मैं जान सकता हूँ, क्योंकि पूरे देश में मैसेज चला गया जैसे मैं मुख्यमंत्री बना जाना चाहता हूँ, इसलिए सब कुछ हो रहा है। मैंने सोनिया जी से भी सॉरी फील किया है, और दूसरी तरफ मैंने उनसे मिला, कोचिंग मिला करके रिक्वेस्ट की कि आप अध्यक्ष चुनाव लड़ें। आखिर उन्होंने अस्वीकार कर दिया। मेरी बात को कायम हूँ, मैं इलेक्शन लड़ूंगा नहीं। तो मैंने कहा भाई, जब सबकी भावना है कार्यकर्ताओं की, नेताओं की, तो मैं फिर चुनाव लड़ूंगा, ये मैंने कहा था। ये कहा सुनिए, पर अब चूंकि कल परसों जो घटना हुई है और मेरी बहुत रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी कि सच्चा पार होता, तो मैंने तय किया है अब मैं इस माहौल के अंदर चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा। ये मेरा फैसला। मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे? ये फैसला मैं नहीं करूंगा, ये फैसला सोनिया गांधी जी करेगी, कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष करेगी।
Sonia Gandhi will decide whether I remain chief minister. Is mahal mein, in this environment, I will not run for Congress president, though I had decided to do so. I think I must first get a voice from Rajasthan, someone who has tracked both Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot for many years. Avinash, I think it became increasingly clear that Mr. Gehlot had lost the chance to run for president after his kind of open mutiny. The big question now is whether he will get to keep the post of chief minister, and what the MLAs are saying. We've seen some of them shift from rebellion to loyalty to the party central leadership in the last few days. What are you picking up, Avinash?
Barkha, It's a dicey situation. It's a very fluid situation as we talk here. The MLAs are trying to decipher the messages that came out from the conference that Ashok Gehlot did. Yes, with him getting out of the Congress president's race officially, as you mentioned, Varun was saying from the beginning. I said in the last program, he was never interested in the job. So his plan was successful. He still has a sizable number with him, though some of them have shifted out. I think it remains to be seen now that he doesn't have the blessings of the high command. How many more MLAs will he lose, and how long will it take the MLAs to the required number to shift to the other side, as in the high command? And I think it's a matter of days now that this picture will be clear. The moment we have a new Congress president, I think the Gandhi family and everybody's focus will be on resolving Rajasthan, because the whole issue was not about electing a new president. Yes, it was, but the crux of the matter was, do you solve Rajasthan? And as we talk, the issue still remains in Rajasthan. What has happened is it has compounded other things. It has taken the heat off the Bharat Jodo Yatra. It has got new players into picture. Congress is looking far more chaotic than it was. So everything is in a disarray. But yes, the MLA loyalties are shifting. He made a very balanced statement. He's saying that I take the moral responsibility कि मैं वो पास नहीं करा सका, पर उसके आगे कुछ नहीं बोला कि क्या वो वापस प्रयास करेंगे उसको पास कराने का, और will he try to get the house to
And,
together.
and,
He
and,
did.
and also, Avinash, as we know, for the last few days, Ashok Gehlot disassociated himself from the rebellion of his MLAs. Nobody believes that, right? Nobody believes that the
It's
MLAs who could have rebelled without Mr. Gehlot's not just consent
never,
but also engineering, right? So
never.
will he not engineer any further? We don't know the answer to that. But what we do know, Dr. Shruti Kapila, is that whichever way you look at, whether you're a Congress fan, a Congress critic, this is an inflection point in the party's history, because after 1997, a non-Gandhi will be leading the party. Whatever happens, that much is clear. How do you see this moment, Shruti?
Well, thank you, Barkha. Good to be back. I think it's certainly a massive transition moment for the Congress, but I would actually date it because I'm a historian. I actually think it's the end of the Indira Gandhi style of politician in the Congress, because Congress is really marked by a kind of politician which has been very transactional, non ideological, because of a history of very long power. And now it is entering a long period of lack of power, both in the central bodies as well as, I think, in state elections. It's going to require a different kind of political actor to show up. And I think that's really what is happening. And to that extent, I think it is interesting that the two candidates that are here at the moment, Digvijaya Singh and Shashi Tharoor, are both staunch secularists. So it's very clear that the party will also project a non, as it were, Hindutva, a strong secularist message, whoever comes out. So I think it's an interesting moment. I don't buy, all this politics intrigue, it's fascinating, it's wonderful, but, that's in the long term, that just gets lost out. In the long term, what is happening is that the Indira Gandhi style party is over. And which Ms. Sonia Gandhi, of course, continued with great success. But that is no longer the demand of India's politics.
So in a way, you're saying this is the Rahul Gandhi imprint on the
Yes,
Congress party?
you could call it Rahul Gandhi. You could call it, when it has to remake itself with no power, because, of course, you have a history of power with the Congress. And it's really now, after 8 years of no power, that it is properly confronting that it is in a different era. It's a different beast altogether. So it's got this kind of empty juggernaut. It's a massive institution which feels hollow. What are you going to fill it up with? Where is power going to come from? These very basic questions of remaking itself are out in the open. And I don't think it's doom and gloom. One is also, grown up all the way through to, declarations of the death of the Congress. I don't think that's what's happening. I think this is a remaking, and it'll be interesting. And as I said, it is obviously going to front a secularist, a very staunch secularist face.
So it's quite interesting. Both men have tweeted or underscored that point today. When I say both men, I'm Sandip, of course, talking about Digvijaya Singh and Shashi Tharoor. But possibly their formulations of secularism have individually changed over time. If we just pull up that picture again of both of them hugging, underscoring the fact that this is going to be a friendly contest, you. But that said, Digvijay Singh, Sandeep, in the past has not been without controversy in a much more, what should I call it, an aggressive, hardened, old style secularism. He sort of got into rough weather because of statements, for example, on the Bartla House encounter, which he questioned. He released a book on 26/11, which alleged an RSS hand in the terror attacks. Varun, you've just flipped down, so let's just ask Varun to reconnect. While we take that question to Sandeep, Shashi Tharoor, on the other hand, has written a book actually talking about why he's a Hindu, and he believes he's more Hindu than the BJP. So these are two very different kinds of secularism. Sandeep, how do you see the big picture? Sandeep.
See, Digvijay Singh, quite apart from his comments on Hindutva and secularism, he has been a bit of a loose cannon, yeah, even otherwise. He is outspoken at times, and he is not as measured or as balanced as, what an Ashok Gehlot could have been, or any of the other party nominees could have been. And also, Barkha, you people know much better. I am still, I don't know whether we have seen the last scene yet of the entire drama of nominations till tomorrow. We could have some, some wildcard entries or last minute entries. I'd be happy to be proven wrong, but I won't rule it out. That can happen because, everybody is now coming around to at least accepting the fact that you cannot win the contest unless you have the blessings of the High Command. And you need Sonia Gandhi's blessings. So everybody, both observers as well as people who are entering the fray, are willingly admitting that. So I think that we should rule out any illusions about it. But I found what Shruti said is quite interesting, in terms of what might emerge from this going forward, irrespective of who is at the helm or in that executive positions. I say it's the CEO position, the ownership or promotership still rests with the Gandhis. If if there is further erosion in the ranks, if there is further electoral reverses, you may actually find that irrespective of who is there as a president today, the equations might change dramatically going forward. And that might happen by default than what is today planned, even if the Gandhis are putting somebody.
That's a great point. Yeah. That's a great point, that the Congress remain unchanged, irrespective of who wins. Can I just hold you there, Sandeep, because that's something to get deeper into, because Sanjay Jha is with us, and Sanjay had, some would say, Sanjay, this fantasy idea that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra would run for the post of president, Shashi Tharoor and Sachin Pilot would be her working presidents. That's what you said on our program itself. Now we have Digvijay Singh, versus Shashi Tharoor. I want your thoughts. And we were just saying that Digvijay, for some, is a much more old style, aggressive, provocative, often contentious, often contrarian kind of Congress figure. Realpolitik, yes. Old style, yes. But if we can just bring up a couple of his controversies, you would remember them, Sanjay. Bartla House, his book on the 26th, he's releasing the book on 26/11, which suggested an RSS hand. He got slammed for that. The Congress, in fact, distanced itself from him. But he takes everything on the chin and he moves on. Sanjay, your thoughts?
I just believe, first and foremost, that I think the Congress has taken a very good decision in telling Mr. Gehlot to back off. I think Mr. Gehlot's arrogance and his, I thought, in my opinion, immoral act of engineering a revolt in Rajasthan is despicable. And the fact that he was being given such an august position, he mocked it. And I think, in politics, you never write anybody off. But I can tell you, Mr. Gehlot will not even be chief minister for very long. You can wait and watch the events as they play out. As far as the current who's going to be the Congress president, $1 million question. I believe Shashi is an excellent candidate, has phenomenal credentials. It's not that the Gandhi family doesn't like him, as is being speculated. The only thing is that Shashi is, very forthright. He's got his own charismatic personality, and at the end of the day, running a political organization is very different from being part of a larger,
So
international.
your choice clearly leans towards Shashi Tharoor, even though Digvijay Singh is the old style politician. Sanjay?
Can I be frank? I mean, in the early
Yes.
part, Barkha, when I started, when I became part of the Congress party, who are the two people who set up the Congress social media? It was Digvijay Singh and me. And I love Digvijay's brio. He may be 75, but the man has passion, energy. He can instigate conversations, and he's belligerent. He's made errors. Goa will be a classic error. Madhya Pradesh, loss of Madhya Pradesh after 15 years back to the BJP. But I do believe that I think you're still going to see a lot of back scenes going to play out over the coming time. I would not like to speculate as to whether Mr. Digvijay Singh is necessarily the Gandhi family backed candidate, because everyone is naturally kind of second guessing that is an establishment
Are you
driven.
saying that we could yet see a third contestant
You
tomorrow
could.
morning?
I do believe
Really?
I do believe that it's not over till it's over yet. And there will be a lot of people within the Congress who I can tell you, although I have great respect for Digvijayji, who are not going to be very happy with him running for Congress president. I mean, they will say, well, listen, you need to have a president for the future. And at 75, does really Digvijay Singh cut the ice? And even if he has got, I think, the Gandhis really trust him. And Digvijay is an extremely likable person. I need to tell you that. I mean, he may be 75, but he's younger at heart than many people.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Ashok Gehlot is a Gandhi.
Sorry.
Would be a better
I don't know
candidate.
what they played. Go ahead, Sanjay. Just complete that last point again. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do
go ahead.
believe that if a choice has to be made, I think Shashi will undoubtedly be a candidate for the Congress's future. He takes on the BJP. I think you need someone who can really call BJP's bluff in Hindutva, because, I think they're just running away with this whole debate that, we are the custodians of Hindu religion, which is such balderdash. And I think you need someone to challenge this incongruous, bizarre, outrageous claim of the BJP to speak on my behalf. I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Hindu, and I don't think the BJP and the RS speak for me at all. And there are millions like me who want the Congress to fight that narrative. And I think Shashi could be the right man to do the job.
Okay. Before I come to all of you, I just want to play out, we had Digvijay Singh first telling us, not directly, but with his sort of naughty glint in his eyes, that he was considering contesting. But then we pushed him a little hard on some of the points that you've raised, including whether the power would be wielded by the Gandhi family. I just want to play out that little clip for you. Let's listen in to Digvijay Singh on the Mojo story.
The 99% of the congressmen in this country have total faith in the family of Nehru Gandhi family. So therefore, there is no doubt about that.
Okay, but given what's happened, has it diminished the authority of the Gandhis?
And again, why do we do that? Because they are fighting for a cause. Because they are fighting the ideology of hate and violence. They are fighting the ideology of right-wing economic policies. We are fighting because they are instigating communal hatred. So we are fighting for a cause in the party, and we are being led by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who has been extremely articulate and vocal on these issues. We are fighting the BJP on issues. Our Bharat Jodo Yatra is not, as Jairam Ramesh always says, is not a Chunav Jitao Yatra. So we are fighting for a cause, and that's it.
Okay, so framing the fight very firmly within ideology. Sandip, can I bring you in? Varun, I'm going to try you after Sandip, because I really don't think we have a stable connection to you. Sandip, go ahead. Yeah. Sandip?
I spoke earlier about Barkha. To that, my point is, as I personally feel, I'm not too sure, Sanjay is rooting for Shashi Tharoor, whether Shashi Tharoor can really make it unless he has again the backing of the Gandhis in these elections. Shashi Tharoor may be somebody who is suave, who is urban, and all of us may like him, people like Sanjay especially, but I'm not too sure how far he'll cut through. As you're seeing, his own home state, they are unwilling to support him at the moment. So Shashi Tharoor could be a profile you can look at for the future. I don't think Shashi Tharoor comes in now. Digvijay Singh can come in by virtue of the fact that he has the support of the High Command. But Digvijay Singh, as we know, Barkha, is not also uniformly liked everywhere. You know, say in his home state, I don't know what is his current equation with Kamal Nath over there. And equally, while he is a likable personality, maybe socio-politically, if I were to use that term, but I'm not too sure how far politically he is trusted by his colleagues. So all that is going to be in transition. And if Digvijaya Singh gets the ticket without anybody coming in, fair enough.
I
He
mean,
will
Sanjay is still talking about the possibility of a third contestant, indicating
You-
that the family may not be comfortable with fully comfortable with either of these candidates. Varun, I'm coming to you in a second. Shruti, if you want to just jump
But
in there. Sorry,
don't
Sandip. Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
forget
Huh.
Pawan Bansal collecting 2 forms and
Yes.
saying that these are for our people. If we
Yeah.
You
need
know,
to,
I don't want to cut into too much. I just wanted to quickly make a point to both Sandeep's point, but also more generally that this kind of chaos argument that you're seeing in the Congress is actually much more representative of India. It's much more argumentative. It's much more noisy society politically than the kind of cadre-based obedience, silence, and discipline that you see with the BJP, which of course people in India admire too. I'm not saying that that's not for admiration. I actually find this much more representative of India's political culture. That's one thing. And second thing, I don't, it doesn't matter really to me in the sense that which of these two people come in, but with Shashi Tharoor coming, fronting a campaign even for leadership means that the media narrative will change because he has he seems to be the only congressperson at the moment who seems to be liked by the Indian media. So I think that is something to play for. And I think that will something that will work in the Congress's
That's a really
favor leading up,
perceptive
because
comment, I think. Yeah.
there is a problem with the Indian media that it really has a very dismissive attitude towards the Congress.
Can I respond to that by adding a point? I won't get into a media discussion right now because we're all on short time, but your
But
point
I'm
is
just saying,
taken.
make a good
No,
front.
you're right. You are right. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying you are right that Shashi Tharoor's entry into this contest has intrigued the media and certainly got a kind of response that others may not have. I will go so far as to say that Shashi Tharoor remains among the few congressmen I think has a certain kind of following and grudging admiration even among BJP voters. I have noticed this in his formulations on colonialism, especially when he speaks outside India. So I think I'm endorsing what you're saying. Sanjay, I want to come to you in a second, and also to Avinash. Varun, do you want to jump in while we still have a line to you? Varun, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know what exactly the problem is, but I don't want to get into that. I don't know why especially when I'm on your show, Barkha, and
Never
Bhai is
mind. Just
there,
make your point while we
it
have you. Yeah.
happens. My point
Yeah.
is basically, I feel finally the Congress has got the right candidate in Digvijay. For a very simple
really?
reason,
That's interesting. Yeah.
because Digvijay speaks what has been the Congress in the last few years. Digvijay represents what the Congress is thinking in the last few years. Look at his statements, is exactly what Rahul Gandhi has been saying. But my only problem is that once you have an advisor as the president, so how will the Gandhi family, and especially Rahul Gandhi, who depends a lot on Mr. Digvijay for his advice, because you can echo, you hear both of them, and it seems like they are speaking in an echo chamber. And how will the Gandhis be able to handle an advisor? And they would never want to have a Shashi Tharoor, because the same way Gehlot, Tharoor had also written a letter. So I'm sure Digvijay is the right candidate right now. And Gehlot, as I had earlier said, why would anyone want to leave a CM post and be a proxy president? And not only that, one thing is very clear: not all those who chamkofy on the media have a good ground base when it comes to the entire nation. So Tharoor may be good with everything, but he doesn't have a support that can be called as a nation-based support. And
Yeah.
still Congress is good, at least in Madhya Pradesh right now.
I'm still intrigued by Sanjay's suggestion that there could yet be a third contestant.
Yeah,
which
even
isn't
I
over
think
yet.
so. There could be a third contestant. I was just gonna say that there could be a third contestant or fourth contestant, as Pawan Bansal has taken 2 forms. One might be rejected, one might be accepted. But it is very clear that the Gandhis are calling the shots right now. It is very clear it would be someone
And that
whom
should
they
take
want to
us to
decide.
the big picture. That should take us to the big picture, because Shruti has argued that the age of the Indira sort of era of the Congress is ending with what we've seen happen here. I just want to briefly draw our attention back to Rajasthan, because the authority of the Gandhis and also the churn within the Congress, a lot will depend. They seem to have brought order back in this last mile, Avinash, but the order isn't done where it began, which is in Rajasthan. What are you picking up from the pilot camp, Avinash?
Nothing. There is a silence. There was just one statement by one of his MLAs who said yesterday that, one of Gehlot's aide, who's not even an MLA, made a charge against Pilot saying he's a traitor. So to that, one MLA from Pilot camp has responded back. And the sense that we get here is that I think they've all been asked to keep quiet, because they've been very vocal in all these 3 and a half years. But right now, the message to them is just be quiet. We will handle it and see you through. This is a sense that I get. And today, the way Ashok Gehlot has backed out of the contest, I think, in my opinion, looking from whatever I've seen of Ashok Gehlot, it's a loss for the Congress. He was a man who would have been the best suited candidate for the job, because, like you said, he's not very flamboyant. He likes to be behind the scene. He's a 24/7 politician. And if you take the last 3-4 days out, he hasn't struck any wrong note. He's always a good manager. He always reaches out to people. And one thing about Ashok Gehlot, not many outside Rajasthan knows that in the last 45 plus years, he has worked in all the states of the country in some or the other party positions. So he knows people. If Ashok Gehlot is making a call across to a Mamata Banerjee or to a Nitish Kumar or to any politician for that matter,
Digvijay Singh will have the same sort of muscle memory in a way, but not the same maybe interpersonal skills. He has a more abrasive, he has a more out there personality.
Keeps, if you take Sachin Pilot's question out of the equation, I haven't seen anyone who he's not gelling well with. He has got good friends across political parties.
Let me bring in Sanjay there. I know you're all on very tight time, so I want to bring in Sanjay. Play another clip from Digvijay and take last comments from all of you. Sanjay, Rajasthan, Sachin Pilot isn't become working president as far as we know, unless that's now the remaining surprise. What could happen in Rajasthan?
Well, definitely. I mean, I agree with Mr. Kala that Mr. Gehlot is a veteran and has a great CV, but it is irrelevant. In politics, you got to live in the moment. And at this point of time, as it stands today, Mr. Gehlot has embarrassed himself and the party, and the consequences he's going to face will probably hurt him for a long time to come. I'm predicting on your show, he won't be the chief minister of Rajasthan when the Congress goes to the polls. You can watch and see how the politics plays out. But this more critical point is this, that I do think that the Gandhis are not very comfortable, even if Digvijay Singh is appearing to be some kind of a compromise candidate at the last minute. I mean, there is an opinion as well that you should be out there in the forefront yourself, and you have to accommodate Sachin Pilot until he returns to Rajasthan. Now, he may not be able to return to Rajasthan in a hurry, and I can tell you, he does not want to be a Charanjit Singh Channi of Rajasthan, because the Congress is facing heavy headwinds, and I do believe that the BJP is at the moment pretty much going to be the front runners in Rajasthan if a poll was held. So Sachin has to be accommodated in the center, and I think there is a lot of thought within the Congress that Priyanka Gandhi should bite the bullet. We'll have to see how this plays out, though.
You're still sticking to that theory. All right, guys, we have 5 minutes left with you. I just want to play out just a small excerpt of a Digvijay interview with us and then get last comments from all of you listening.
Is that why you have decided to omit Gujarat? The left in Kerala has raised questions about why you're spending so much time in, why 18 days for Kerala and 2 for UP, none for Gujarat. You seem to have bypassed the states where the actual fight is.
Let me clarify on this. Bharat Jodo Yatra is going on throughout the country. Number one, when you walk from A point to B point, do we take a zigzag route or you take a straight route? So therefore, this Bharat Jodo Yatra of Kanyakumari to Kashmir, we have taken a straight line. Unfortunately, there are but number of states don't fall in that route. But at the same time, Mr. Jairam Ramesh has already been to Gujarat. I and we have been to Assam. We've been to Odisha. We've been to Bengal. And all states, including which are on the route and which are not on the route. are going to have one of the biggest mass contact program on the issue of Bharat Jodo Yatra, where we are going to raise the issue of the socio-economic disparity, the economic disparity, rising disparity between the rich and the poor. Mm-hmm. We are trying to sort of assess how things are going, and at the same time bring in the public domain the kind of the hatred and violence which the BJP and the RSS is perpetrating throughout the country. So these are the basic issues we have to work on, because in fact, India is a land of diversity. So this diverse population, this country, can they be allowed to sort of function against each other, or allowed to be taking up issues against each other?
You've been a fierce and consistent critic of the RSS, but recently you actually saw the RSS meeting with a number of Muslim intellectuals, Miswai Qureshi, Najib Jung, General Zamiruddin Shah. What do you make of that?
I spoke to them also, but I have also made a public request to Mr. Mohan Bhagwat. He should also go and meet the family of Akhlaq. He should also meet the family of Bilkis Bano. He should also meet the families of all those innocent Muslims and Christians who have been sort of acted against by the RSS cadre.
Okay, that gives you a sense, I believe, of the kind of public articulation that you are going to see if Digvijaya Singh becomes the Congress president. Mr. Jha is still holding out for a last-minute surprise. I want to take last comments. I'll start with you, Varun, quickly, then Sanjay. Actually, can I start with Sanjay, because I know he has to hop off in precisely 2 minutes. I'll start with Sanjay and then Shruti, and then in that order. Sanjay, go ahead, quickly. Sanjay?
I remain, despite all the conundrum, confusion, and all the cacophony, I remain bullish that the Congress is actually seizing the narrative. In a great number of ways. Please juxtapose this with the Bharat Jodo Yatra. And I was very surprised. I'm in Mumbai, and trust me, I met a lot of people, just around a couple of hours ago in Mumbai. And these are not, the typical elite of Mumbai, just very ordinary people. And they're all so excited about the Bharat Jodo Yatra. They were like, "Kab aa rahe hain Rahul ji Maharashtra mein?" So I can tell you there is a buzz. I know, Barkha, you and I both know how mainstream India is trying to boycott it. But the truth is there seems to be a clear impact is emerging. And, I have remained an eternal optimist.
And who's your bet for the third contestant before I let you go? You've made your larger point, now the micro point.
Now, why don't you let me sleep over that one?
There's hardly any time for you to sleep over it. So before we let you go, any best guesses?
No, I can tell you that, the proposition that I mentioned on your show the last time is still extremely workable. It's still a very workable model that a lot of people aren't writing off.
So Sanjay Jha still believing that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra could make a last moment entry. Dr. Shruti Kapila, you've been stressing that the individual doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter who will be Congress president. It is a shift that has taken place within the party.
Yeah,
Last thoughts?
I think, generational shift, a real conflict, but has actually now on the Indian political table. For several years, we've just lived under one major personality and one big idea, call it Hindutva. And I think all of that is now up for, there's a bit of a contest. I'm not saying it's happened, but the tables have turned a little bit. This is Congress in fight back mode. And for all its kind of crisis talk and chaos talk, I think this is incredibly generative. It's incredibly productive. And it has steered the political narrative in India, including the Yatra. But also, I think the contest itself has animated Indians back into the Congress.
Varun, do you agree, or do you think this is a fortnight of headlines, and it kind of what
just
counts
headlines.
is who wins Gujarat, who wins Himachal?
I can say only a small thing, immaterial who becomes the president. The Congress is losing Rajasthan, the Congress is losing Gujarat, Congress is losing almost all the places, and including 2024, because they have lost base with the common man. And Digvijay rightly pointed out that when you draw A to B, when you want to reach B, while going to all the dots, you have to take a zigzag line. You cannot be taking a straight line. You have to go
Okay.
to all the
So,
states.
so you,
And
so you
and my
believe,
third candidate, I
yeah,
can tell you,
yeah.
I think
Okay,
it
what
would
was
be
yours?
someone. I think it could be someone from either Maharashtra or Mr. A.K. Anthony.
Yeah, well, Mr. Anthony War did come to Delhi, but I think if that happens, it would not necessarily at all be the end of the Indira Gandhi era. I somehow don't think it will happen. Sandeep, the larger picture, and then we'll end with a question to Avinash on Rajasthan. Sandeep, the larger picture.
Yeah, before Rajasthan, I think when we come to Avinash, I believe there is a CLP meeting called again this evening. So I don't know what's going to come out of that. Uh, Personally, I feel, since I mentioned Rajasthan, Sachin Pilot can become the CM only if the High Command bulldozes. He by himself doesn't have the clout to become CM. And if Ashok Gehlot is given time, he's going to regroup, reconfigure. So I think they've got a challenge out there, how to
Yeah.
tackle it. Digvijay is saying if Congress makes him the president, I think Congress is also inviting very direct, giving BJP something on a platter, because given all his utterances, BJP will now have a target to attack on Digvijay Singh.
Yeah, because
Along with
he is a
polarizing
polarizing
thing,
figure.
given his
Yeah.
statements and everything else, Digvijay Singh will get. And if what Shruti and Sanjay are saying, if you bring back Priyanka Gandhi, then that's a 180-degree, shift in the Congress's stand already. So
I
while
mean, unless
Shruti,
Sachin Pilot is the third candidate, which I
no,
think Rahul Gandhi will not accept because he's too much of a peer, could overshadow him. I don't know.
I don't know. Sachin
Sanjay?
Pilot being making would be a very radical choice at this juncture. Although
Yeah,
Suji says, all this buzz and commotion is good, but not when the buzz and commotion is happening, giving you a sense of, there is no
chaos.
control. If the thing
Yeah.
is happening that you're allowing it to happen and naturally, automatically, it's one thing. But it is happening because of discordant notes. I am not too sure whether that's a good thing for a party, especially when you're going in for a presidential election at the last minute.
I'll just ask Avinash a question about Rajasthan, and then if we have Sanjay for one more minute, I'll give him the last word. Avinash, the CLP meeting again. I kind of feel that this time it will pass that one-line resolution that it was meant to pass. We leave it to the Congress president, but now we have no idea who the Congress president is going to be. Do they mean Sonia Gandhi? Do they mean Digvijay Singh? Do they mean Shashi Tharoor? Do they mean candidate X? What's your sense? What's your best guess about Rajasthan?
See, Barkha, we have all seen unexpected scenes out of Rajasthan. It was never expected to go like this. I'm still saying I agree with what Sandip, Mr. Ghose said, that there is still time. You give Ashok Gehlot time and he can come out with everything. He's still hell-bent on saying anyone but Sachin Pilot. And Sachin Pilot has thrown his ring, nothing but a chief minister's post. So Rajasthan at the moment is not solved. And I'll add one more thing. We've been talking a lot about Yatra and all of that. I think one of the panelists said it's getting a lot of traction and a good thing. But the thing they need to understand, a Yatra like this with no political aim doesn't get you back into power. And if you are in power only, then you can sustain Yatras like this. A lot of this Yatras can come from Rajasthan.
I actually have to say, Sanjay Jha, to you that maybe the attempt is to reimagine brand Rahul Gandhi for the 10th or 15th time now in the last, since he's been in politics. But when Digvijay Singh says the yatra is not a Chunao Jutao yatra, why isn't it that? Why isn't we are not in politics? I mean, people like you are in politics. No one is in politics to just for the motherhood and apple pie. You are in politics to win elections. So why isn't the Bharat Jodo Yatra a Chunav Jitao Yatra? Sanjay, quickly, and your guess for Rajasthan.
Well, Barkha, very quickly, I don't think any politician does anything without an electoral advantage in mind. There is no doubt about it. Bharat Jodo Yatra is a moral crusade. It is challenging the BJP, definitely with a political objective. So, skip the hyperbole and the rhetoric there.
Yes.
Now, as far as Rajasthan is concerned, I believe Mr. Gehlot has hit a roadblock. The new Congress president, and if you heard all the Congress MLAs who were loyal to Mr. Gehlot, said whatever the Congress president decides, right? So a new Congress president might tell them Mr. Sachin Pilot is the chief minister in case the Congress decides not to move away with the model that I have talked about. But Sachin will be accommodated. The Congress cannot afford to have a disgruntled, disillusioned Sachin from now till 2024, and they will retain him. And Sachin has now put his political capital behind the Congress party. So that is the adjustment, whether Sachin will go as chief minister because he doesn't want to go too late into that job, and whether he'll be accommodated in the center. I believe both options, frankly, are workable.
And you still believe that tomorrow will there be a surprise third candidate?
There could be a surprise candidate. Also, don't forget, Barkha, that you could have a situation where even if there is an election where Priyanka is formally not in the game, the arrangement still works out even after the elections are over.
What does
She
that
doesn't
mean?
have to
That
be-
means that makes the election redundant.
Not at all. You can have a Digvijaya Singh as a president or a Shashi as a president with a Priyanka as a working president. It doesn't make a difference. But
Well,
you'll
it would
see a
totally
Gandhi in the center
undercut
of
it.
things.
It would totally undercut the whole point of the shift, the stated aim that there's going to be finally a non-Gandhi at the helm. But we'll see. I think we'll know soon enough. Now, what happens after the election is quite clear. The Gandhis will remain a power center, whether or not they take on an official post, and that, I guess, is also true of the BJP, where the party president is not the nerve center. So maybe the two parties will become more similar than we thought, except for the fact that in one case the nerve center is inherited, and in another case it is self-made, and that is how the BJP will project it. I have to say goodbye. This
Thanks,
will carry
Barkha.
on. We can talk about this for hours. Avinash, Varun, fix your internet line the next time. Sanjay Jha and Sandip Ghose, thank you so much to our audience. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.